All right. So I wanted to start off with just some fundamentals, making sure we're on the same page. I was on our, we have one of the benefits of me being a part of the Jared James coaching organization is that we have like a group coaching call and it's
Mhm.
super awesome. So everybody's like, running teams, running brokerages and talking about, what's going on in their offices, what's the, um, the motivation, the temperature like on the real estate teams, like how's everybody's mindsets on the teams, um, what they're doing to be successful, but also what they're struggling with. So it's really cool from that standpoint. And we were talking about yesterday, like how do we get these folks that are not in a momentum phase in their business into a momentum phase in their business? And one of the coaches chimed in and, reminded us that a lot of real estate agents are just in paralysis. And what will
Mhm.
help them get out of paralysis is talking about like what's their next step? Like not what they need to accomplish in a day, a week, a month, a quarter, a year. It's what they need to do next. Like,
Breaking it down from looking at the goal to like what you need to get to that goal. Like what's the
yeah, and it reminded me of a story that my first real estate coach ever that I hired told me, and his name is Bill Pipes, and he's still coaching, doing group coaching events, and if you get a chance to go to one, I would highly recommend it. But Bill climbs mountains, or he
mm,
used to back at that time, which I thought was just absolutely nuts. But he went on this climbing expedition where they had to have like a Sherpa or guides or something, and his guide or his Sherpa stopped him and said, "Bill, if you don't stop looking at that summit and wondering like what it's like, be thinking like stop thinking about like what it's
mm,
like to be up there and all that stuff, you're going to get yourself killed, or worse, you're going to endanger the group." He goes, the key is to focus on just the next step,
yeah.
one foot in front of the other, one step at a time. So I just want to go back to the Jared James business planning event that some of us participated in earlier in the fall, where he said like the simplified business plan was content, 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 database, 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 content, 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 database, database, database. So we need to understand, where do leads come from? Where do free organic leads come from? How do they find their way into our databases, into our CRMs? And that is a content driven exercise. Okay.
Yeah.
So we know that we need to be creating content on a very consistent basis. All right. So let's just really get fundamental here and go back to the rules of content creation. Content needs to be authentic. Here comes Matt Muncher. Content needs to be authentic. Content needs to be valuable. And content needs to be consistent. So consistent, authentic, valuable content. So these agents that are, so let's just say, Kevin, you get like a wild hair, and this week you're going to create some content. If you
Mhm.
don't create content the following week or the following week after that, like you should just stay on the sidelines. Like you're not ready to do this until you're consistently ready to do it. Now, Matt is a great example of somebody. He's one of the few people that I've ever coached that has just taken the ball and run with it. I think the first time we made a video was the first time he'd ever been in front of the camera.
Mm.
And I was just like, typically there's a lot of angst, a lot of anxiety. I mean, the agents are like, oh, can you just give me a minute? And they'll walk off and they'll maybe go into like a breathing
Get the
exercise.
shakes out. Yeah, shake it out.
They get the bar bag out. Maybe they're sneaking a beer or a shot of whiskey or something. So, and Matt was just like, let's get rolling. Let's just go. Let's just do it. I mean, that's the only way to do it. And he's just taken off from there, and he's been super consistent. And you're starting to see that morph entertaining, storytelling, reels, stories, all this kind of stuff that's going on, in addition to, YouTube videos, small business spotlights. And I just put in the video small group some really exciting news in the group me yesterday that, the Roots Group's been invited to do a live segment in studio on the state of the real estate market in 2023. I mean, live on air. I mean, like,
That's
and
awesome.
what is it? It's 600,000 people, Matt.
Yeah, they have 600,000 followers on Facebook. It's ABC 3340, so it's one of the biggest news networks in Birmingham. So, and it was all generated based off of just relationships, and then just seeing content on Facebook. And there's plenty of Birmingham agents that sell more than us, but it was just content and staying in front
You're
of people.
out there and you're visible. Yeah.
Yeah, and perception's reality. Because you may have agents that are veteran agents that are running a veteran team that are selling 100 homes a year, whatever the number is, but there's no content supporting it. I mean, they're all grassroots, all sphere of influence. And as I've said time and time again, that's 50% of the pie. There's a whole other pie out there. So this is a double your business opportunity. It's a double your business opportunity year over year. It's very, very serious. But on top of that, I don't want to, kind of skip over the sphere of influence piece here, because the more we get in front of anybody, whether it's a lead we're trying to convert or whether it's an SOI member we're trying to stay connected with, that content is reaching them as well. So we've got some agents on our real estate team up here in the Birmingham area that are right out of real estate school. And they feel like they've just been hit in the head with a sledgehammer. I think it's just that tried and true simplistic mindset of a new real estate agent who thinks all I got to do is get my real estate license.
Now accepting new clients.
Exactly. Here they come. Here they come. And they're going to come so fast. Like the agents are like, well, I don't even know how am I going to handle all this business.
I'm going to refer all these out. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have this one, and God bless her. She's attractive. She wasn't born with a silver spoon in her mouth, but I'm wondering if because she is so attractive that just things have just come easy to her in her life. But she just has this, she doesn't see it, but every time we're around her, I see it. I see a sense of entitlement and a sense of very false expectations. So I'll just ask her, I'm like, okay, so let's say for the sake of argument, just for a second, and y'all humor me just for a minute, that she's correct. All you got to do is get your real estate license, and all your friends and family are going to come out of the woodwork just throwing business at you. So my question to her is that if that was really the reality of it, how would you even be able to handle that? You're not studying the real estate contracts. You're not studying the market. I mean, you can't tell me what the average days on market is anywhere in the greater Birmingham area. You can't tell me if sales are up and down. You can't tell me nada. You probably can't tell me about loan programs or any of this stuff. You're not marketing yourself on social. You're not providing that social proof. I've said this time and time again that your personal Facebook page is your digital resume. That is where we're connecting with our sphere of influence. That's where leads go to look and see if we are somebody that they would be willing to hire and put their trust in to handle one of the largest investments they'll make in their lifetime. And that's another thing I'm trying to get through this girl. Like, this is a big deal. You want people to trust you with the largest investment of their life, but what are you bringing to the table? You have no knowledge, no experience, and you're not studying. You're not preparing. You're not practicing. You're just doing nothing but waiting for something good to happen. And she's like desperate. Like, she has all these things she needs money for, and it just doesn't add up. It just doesn't compute. So,
I mean, it's one thing if you do if you're like a social butterfly and you're always like networking or something, I can see maybe like flexing that somewhat, but otherwise, like the first 2 years that I was in this, family and friends, they're not going to do anything unless you're putting yourself out there for them. I've noticed that sphere of influence wants to see proof before they sign up for it themselves.
Yeah. So lock
know
this
what
in
I
mean?
your brains. Proof over promise. Proof over promise. And that's social media is social proof. Oh, Matt is super busy. Oh, Matt loves, like, people love to work real estates that love where they live. So if I'm
Yeah.
watching Matt's content, I'm like, all right, he's inspiring people with, he has a very inspirational weight loss journey, and he continues to inspire people by saying, hey, like, this weight loss, I didn't just earn it, and I don't have to like eat right or work out anymore. Like, it's a continual thing. So he's inspiring people like to get healthy. He's making people laugh, and he's supporting the small business owner. And then here comes this whole ABC 33 interview is going to be all about like really valuable real estate, educational, like expertise, like deep value. So it's all just going to start coming together and start skyrocketing. But this is the other issue I'm seeing. Okay. So the first issue is to get the agents bought into the fact that content drives lead generation. The second issue is database. I don't know why anybody wants to go to the trouble of mastering things like video editing and, coming up with creative ideas and things like that to generate leads they're not going to call. That's the other thing, is that these agents want leads, but I see the leads dying on the vine in Boomtown every single day. And I'm like, hey, for this really, really to work, then the conversion piece of this needs to happen. And, real estate agents just really are not prepared for that. We had Todd Baker, member of our team on the coast. I was on a coaching call with him the other day, and he was like, man, that seventh time I tried to reach out to somebody, I couldn't get on the telephone. They were returning back to the site, but they ain't answering no text, no phone calls. Just like that seventh time he answered, and he's got that person under contract right now. So a big part of this is just buying in. And it frustrates me to no end when agents I've been teaching for 2 years go, I finally get it. Or you weren't full of crap. This is another quote from our Jared James group coaching call yesterday. It said, the teacher appears when the student is ready. And Matt, you're on a team building journey right now. You're about to start feeling my pain big time, especially with buyer's agents. Whiny asses. I need more new leads. I'm not getting enough leads. The leads are junk. Da, 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 da. And it's not the leads. It's you.
Well, I mean, and to that, like, I was kind of talking to some of the, and I won't, say any names, but I was talking to some of your team yesterday with, with Blake being out, and you were on calls, and they were like talking about like how they were frustrated with one of their clients, and like the lady was wanting something, and all this kind of stuff, and I was, and it was a piece of land. We'll just, it was a piece of land, and she was like, well, she just wants this, and it's just not out there. It's not out there. It's not out there. I was like, well, what is she using the land for? Well, I don't know. Well, what's her budget? Well, I don't know. Well, how many acres does she need? I don't know. Well, what is she doing with the land when she gets it? Is it investment? Is she building up? And I just started like asking all these discovery questions, and it was just like, I don't know. It's like we're frustrated with the customer. We don't know anything about the customer to be able to give them properties that actually fit what they're looking for. So it's like, even sometimes when we get this stuff, we're not educating ourselves enough to really, pump them with the right stuff to close those deals. So, I think
that comes
a
from
big piece of
wanting
it.
to get off the phone as quickly as possible type of mindset. You're already scared of being on the phone, and it's just kind of, you're on the spot, and you're like, just answer their questions, and okay, you have a good day. Let us know if you need anything. And then, of course, they're never going to call you back.
Well,
Yeah, it's like,
yeah, it's the relationship business, and there's no relationship building. You got to ask questions and go deep with these people. But yet, Matt, I mean, that's an agent that you reference that is like starving or appears to be starving for a first opportunity. But it's like you and I talked about yesterday in a private meeting. When opportunity presents itself, it's too late to prepare. It's too late to ask those deep questions and educate yourself on what somebody's real estate goals are. And it's just really, really sad. I mean, I made this post this morning. I hope everybody goes and reads it, and you'll see it's got a picture of a book on there called Profit First. And I just really, this was inspired by a lot of the events that happened in the office yesterday and the frustrations that the agents were voicing. But I was like, y'all are looking to make a withdrawal, but y'all are making no deposits. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like showing up to an ATM and expecting to get $100 out, but you haven't put any money in the bank. So it just doesn't happen that way. And it's a very, very frustrating process. But I keep going back. So at the Jared James advance in Nashville last year, I hope I want to just keep being repetitive about this. I hope people go because it's in driving distance and it is, Nashville's a fun city and such great information last year. But one of my biggest takeaways last year is really, really simple. And I think, so Kevin, Matt, so, Kevin's on a team. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm a team owner. You're our new team builder. I think it is really, really powerful. Here was the statement. It's that real estate agents should tie the results of their business to something they're passionate about or something that'll pull on their heartstrings. Well, most real estate agents that I'm talking to, whether they're inside our brokerage or coaching clients, they really don't know what drives them. They want to make money, but they haven't really thought about like what for. Why do they want to do this? Why do they want to do a business that's this hard when they could just go out and get, a 9 to 5 and, scroll Facebook for most part of the day, because they got a little bit of, to-dos and just kind of mess around and get a guaranteed income. And it's really, really necessary, but they just don't know what it is. I don't know if they just don't, maybe they feel like it's hokey. I don't know. But like if I took all my team members down to, this is going to sound really bad, but if I took all my team members down to like an animal shelter on like kill day, okay.
We're getting dark. Okay.
Hey,
This is pretty.
We gotta save this and cash in this. Okay.
Listen, I'm desperate. I'm trying to use the most extreme examples possible to
Out of context conversations.
Yeah, so I take everybody down there. We got like 24 members on our team. I get everybody from all over, wherever they are, drive them. We all meet at this one kill shelter, and there's like 10 animals scheduled to be euthanized that day. And then I go to the person in charge and say, well, how much would it take to save these lives for another month to give these animals a chance to get adopted? And let's say he was like, oh, it'll be $500. And I stroked him a check right there and said, hey, we're going to keep coming back every month with a $500 check. And then I just say, hey, this is how much we're going to take out of every closing. So every team member, every time you have a deal, $5, $10 is going to come out. And our goal is like to produce so much because we need several deals for 5 and 10 to add up to $500. Then these agents would go, oh my God. Like they would look these animals in the eye and go, we just saved your life, bro. And we're going to make sure that you don't get killed next month. Cause we're going to go out and we're going to prospect so hard that we're going to make this $500 every month to keep your butt alive until somebody adopts you. And then they'll probably start creating a lot of social media content around what they're doing and the animals' lives they're saying, and start GoFundMe pages and fundraisers and doing all this kind of stuff, which is going to help them build more relationships. And people love to support people who have a conscious capitalism approach to business, which means that businesses like money are good for the profits that are earned. The money is good for the good it can do. So I don't know. Just think about that. I mean, we just have so many agents that woke up this morning late that are just now, there's some that are just now getting out of the shower, And Matt, what time did you get this morning?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
Woo.
Because
I was doing good at 6.
because you drive a school bus.
Oh, well, yeah, I go to the school and open up and everything to get insurance. But
Yeah. Well, that's right. I'm sorry. We've had other agents. in Fairhope that have driven school buses to get the insurance for their family and all that stuff. So you work at a school, open it up to get insurance. I got a school teacher, said this many times, one of our members in Fairhope paid cash for a pool last year. She got 3 kids. Her husband works the night shift. All right. So she's got a lot of jobs herself. Mom, teacher, realtor, made $100,000 net profit over and above what she earned as a school teacher last year, and decided to do more this year. So we got to understand like what is actually realistic in terms of our capacity, and look at these other people that are achieving. This lady too is not from Fairhope. She's from North Alabama. She's from up around like Gadsden or something, some little small town between Birmingham and Mentone. I'm not really sure where, but it's pretty phenomenal. Okay. And she just puts herself out there with the content, and I'm excited to see she's already in Boomtown generating leads, and it's really, really exciting to see. Now, I'm just going to keep stressing this too. Here's the one thing I know about real estate agents. We already talked about how they're not really connected to what drives them. They're not really connected to a very specific outcome that would drive them to go through the hard to get to the easy. And the hard that we experience on the way to easy is fear. That's what keeps us from picking up the damn telephone. And I'm just going to say this. Okay. So I'm getting back on the phone to call for sell by owners, expireds, buyers, whoever I can, to try to create opportunities for these younger agents on my team that are just sitting there like deer in headlights going, I thought it was going to be easier. I didn't know it was going to be this hard. I have call reluctance. I haven't done it in a while. So there's periods where I do this, where I'll get back on the phone, start making some dials, just to keep
knock the rust off.
Yeah, just to keep myself sharp, prove to myself that the scripts still work, whatever the case may be. And I got to get back in that mode. Sometimes I got to psych myself up to get on the phone. And then when I get on the phone, it's like Adam this morning. We've been, unbeknownst to each other, competing over the same for sale by owner listing. This morning, he nailed the open house before I could nail it. And I've been talking to this lady a week and a half prior. But he came out of his office all giddy, like, "Mo, that was easy. That was easy." And I'm like, "Yeah, go get another one. Go get another. I told you, go get another one." My point here is we have to keep screaming from the rooftops. Like, hey, my gosh, if I never would have gotten consistent with video, I never would have been invited to the ABC 13 studio. We have no idea what the benefits, the ROI is going to be from this. And what's the compound effect that's going to happen from that? We got to be screaming from the rooftops. Hey, I nailed this appointment. I got this buyer. I closed this deal. It's all from content. It's all from consistent lead generation, consistent follow-up. We have to create believers out of the non-believers. And boy, do we have our work cut out for us. But I would just mention, and then I'll shut up and let y'all have a chance to talk if there's anything you want to say, that, while we all have a vested interest in putting more signs in the ground, it supports the brokerage, and it supports everybody's business in multiple ways possible, from providing open house opportunities to newer agents, to just building the brand of the brokerage. I mean, it's endless. Also, that rising tide raises all ships. So, there's a lot of agents out there right now that are just scared. They think this year is going to be terrible. They're listening to the news. They're not studying the market, and they're really not doing a whole lot because they just don't think there's a lot out there to do. So we need to prove them wrong. So we need to have that proof over promise with these agents, just like our consumers want to see it. We need to do the same thing with our agents.
I think what happens with new agents is their experience with real estate agents is the showing. Like, that's what they see, and that's what they think that all of it's going to be, when not knowing that the work it has to go into to prospect and all that, how much of your time is taken up by that. Like, I think most of them get into it thinking, oh, I'm just going to go show houses today. and not realizing that there's a whole back end process that you have to do to even get your foot in the door.
Yeah. The agent that was fussing over that lot yesterday, I told her it's like a $15,000 deal. And when you're on a team,
Yeah.
that you might make enough money to put gas in your car.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
You're
but
spinning your wheels in the wrong place.
I started asking her
But
some of those questions too, because what one thing she did know was this lady was an investor. And I was like, well, I wonder if she's going to build a spec home on that lot. Then it would kind of change things.
well, and I asked the same questions, and to that same note, she wants to get this. I told her I think this is a test because she wants to get this, and she wants to, once she closes on this, she wants to buy a multifamily dwelling. So like this is going to lead to something else. So yeah, you may not get paid crap on this, but it leads to the next thing. And she's already said the ladies already, the ladies already talked about buying a multifamily dwelling once she finds this piece of property.
Yeah. We can't just put all our eggs in one basket either. We got to realize, like I told her, I was like, get some information on these new lots she's interested in, send it to them, and then get back on the phone and try to create another opportunity because, I had it written on my whiteboard in my office, and we just had like an impromptu coaching session, and I get I'm on the whiteboard writing time in huge letters and circling it about 50 times. I was like, this is your most valuable asset is time. And when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So we need to make sure that we're saying yes to the right things and no to the right things as often as possible. I mean, we ain't going to get it perfect. That's not the goal. It's progress over perfection. And I said, we're talking about all this stuff and complaining, and we're just wasting time. You should be on the phone right now, excited to connect with people. And I'm going to say this again. I've said this over and over and over, but I really feel like this is a good one to be redundant on, is that, one of my mentors has trained thousands of people in his career. And I have gone to him often frustrated why, and just taking responsibility for the lack of production, the lack of motivation, just the lack of effort, all of it. I was like, am I just not inspiring these people? I feel like I'm giving them all this great information, but the results are just not there. And he's like, Jason, you can't want it more than they do. Like, and they have to find enjoyment out of, working with people, or, there's a lot of introverts in this business and they don't necessarily find joy with the people aspect, but there's some aspect they find joy in. And it is okay to find joy in the financial benefit. But there needs to be a source of joy and fulfillment coming from somewhere.
Yeah. Gets back to that why.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, and your clients and your customers see that. I was having a recruiting conversation late last night with a guy at an office that's been talking about getting into real estate and wants to take his test and all. And it's like I told him just as you're going. I was like, you got to be educated and you got to be authentic. And I was like, a lot of times you see a commercial of a cheeseburger and that cheeseburger is made of paint and glue and all these fake things. And so if you were to take a bite out of that cheeseburger, it's not going to taste very good. I was like, but when you get the real thing, it may not look as polished, but it tastes good, and you can tell that it's the real thing. It may not be as polished as what you saw in the commercial, but it's the real thing. And people see that in real estate. There's all these, polished up to the nines, real estate agents. But when you get down to it and you get up close and personal, there's nothing there. There's no substance. They're not educated. They're not authentic. They're not really who they act like they are, on this commercial or this billboard or whatever. And that's not what people are looking for anymore, especially with these newer generations. They're looking for, the real meat, cheese, and condiments that taste good and that, you can vibe with and that you can enjoy. So, it's just that authentic, you, and being that authentic you, and to be authentic for other people, you got to be authentic with yourself. And so you got to be authentic about what's driving you, going back to what you're talking about, your why. You can't fake your why, or people are going to see that as well. You've got to have a true reason that you're doing all this every day, that you're waking up on time, that you're calling these people, that you're generating this content, all the above. So,
well, and think about this. I mean, excellent point, excellent analogy, 100% spot on. But also, if Matt, if you were to go work for a plumbing supply business or a lumber business, a cabinet maker, I don't know, somebody that made like decorative bathroom furniture. I mean, if there was a big product line, or if you went to go work I don't know, Ralph Lauren sees you in your chubby or Chubby sees you and like, oh, Matt, we want you to come work for us, man.
Yeah.
And like one of the first things they're going to do is put the Chubby manual in front of you and go study everything, all of our suppliers, all of, all the manufacturers we use, all the different styles and brands, and you'd have a whole catalog of things to memorize. I went to work for my dad for a year, and he, at the time, he's retired now, but he used to be a rep for Delta Faucet. And he gave me a big old manual full of like faucets and faucet parts and pieces. And he's like, you ain't going to do nothing until you memorize this. Dropped it on the desk. And I'm like, okay, I want to get out there and sell. No, memorize that, stupid. Then you can go out there. But so I just don't get it. And if more of us, and this is another thing that I feel like is a truth, is that my voice just becomes the Charlie Brown voice on the other end of the telephone, the wah, 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 the teacher voice. I mean, it just gets drowned out. And if more of us, and that's that bottom up leadership, go, hey, I wrote a blog the other day that, or, Muncher, like I use chat, what's it called?
Chat GPT. Yeah.
I used that to write a blog for me the other day. I used that to write a listing description for me the other day. Like, it's gonna get people going. And then guess what happened? My seller like raved about the listing description. The blog actually drove leads into my Boomtown CRM. That is going to get people connected. Or I hosted an open house for a FISBO last week, and yesterday they called me and said, hey, come out and list this sucker. We need to be infusing success stories into the ecosystem, into the group me's, into agents we pass in the hallways, you name it, we need to be doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Chat GPT is still free. Like, take advantage of that.
Muncher, like I just was telling, like I shared that article because somebody told me it was cool. I didn't look at it. I didn't, do anything with it. Somebody told me like, this is the next big thing in real estate. So I just shared an article on it, and he actually showed me what it did yesterday. And I was blown away. Like
your kids are probably using it for, not maybe your kids, but kids are already using it for writing their reports for school and stuff. Like it is nuts what it can do. It's
insane. It is insane. All right, let's go. Let's break. It's 30. We've been on here 35 minutes. Y'all have any specific questions, you know where to reach me. Have a great day. Thanks for joining the call, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Bye.
All right. Bye.